You made it too easy to miss workouts. Okay? So, you're hitting the gym. Everything's going well. You feel good. You're getting stronger. You're on a roll. Now, you think this shit's gonna go on forever. Like, if you're anything like I was, do you think you're just gonna turn up to the gym? Or you're just gonna be able to hit the best workout ever, every single workout, for the rest of your life? You think the burden of missing a workout is finally gone forever? And so you start raising the bar, you start raising the standards. Now, don't get me wrong, like, having standards is obviously a good thing, but then you start adding in cardio. So now you gotta go to the gym and do cardio in order for it to count as a workout. Okay, now you gotta do an hour of cardio. Now you do every set to failure, so you're doing every set to failure, and you're doing an hour of cardio, which, I mean, you can kind of sustain that. But when you do that, now all of a sudden, you get a bit sick, you have to travel, whatever the fuck happens that like forces you to miss a day. Now getting back on track with that shit is not going to be so easy anymore, okay? Like, look, everything isn't always gonna go 10 out of 10. Like, sure, like, maybe you can't hit that workout while tired, but then how tired can you be? Like, cause there will be a day when not only will you be tired, you'll also feel a bit sickly, and also you got this social event coming up, and also you got this other thing that you should do, so you're constrained by time as well, and now you don't have time to do the whole workout, and then what? I mean, it's a planning issue, sure, but are you going to miss a workout because of a planning issue? Now, chances are, if you get like a workout that's 3 hours long, you actually will, which is bad. Okay, and so what you don't want, and the last thing you want, is that you start missing sessions at the gym. Okay, in my experience, what usually happens in terms of like missing a session at the gym, there will be something that happens. Let's say you're gonna trip. That's gonna, in a weird way, disrupt you going to the gym, but it might not do it instantly. Okay, so I think it was last year when I was when I was a week in Switzerland. Now, when I think back to it, leading up to that, my gym streak was somewhere around 3 months. Okay, not missing a single fucking gym session for 3 months straight. Now, look, you might say, that's not that impressive. And maybe it isn't, but still. 3 months consistent, I will go on this 1 week long trip. I come back, and if I remember correctly, I probably hit at least a couple workouts after that. But then what happened was that because I was on a trip for a week, my skill level, in a sense, my discipline, my ability to just go at it had dropped because I had been chilling for so long. So I could do 2 gym sessions, but more than that, more than 2 to 4 gym sessions became a struggle, and so then I felt off. Felt off, fall off, felt off. Not as in. Yeah, so then I fell off That's what I mean. And so it didn't happen right away, but it sure shit did happen, and it happened with a delay. And so you might not even notice the consequence right away, but it's gonna come. And that's the thing. If you set the bar really high, and then for whatever the fuck reason, like you go on a trip for a week, you might start to actually lose progress because of that. Because you think you can maintain this high ass standard for the rest of your life because you're doing well right now, but the thing is, you're not always going to do that well. And it might not even be like, you might not even fall off intentional, it might really just be you're going abroad for a couple of weeks. You're doing this, you're doing that. Maybe you start to do some intellectual coping. Start arguing that cardio is more important, so now you miss the gym. Either way, you absolutely can miss sessions at the gym if, mind you, if the bar is too high. And so where does that lead us? Well, it puts us in this situation where you need to set the bar stupid low, okay? Really damn low. Why? Because you want to be able to perform on your worst days. When everything is going to shit, okay, you pull up, you lost your job, you also happen to be sleep deprived that day, your chick left you, when everything goes to hell, like let's say all of that happens on the same day, you still, okay, in that case you probably might even have motivation to go to the gym, but I digress. You want to be able to pull up to the gym, no matter what. The only exception being, well, like your leg's broken, or you got fever, or some tangible thing. But certainly not that you feel tired, that you don't feel like going to the gym, that you think the workout's too hard. So you need to set the bar stupid low. Let me explain a bit why, okay? So, everything's going well. I'm hitting the gym consistently. It's a couple of months ago. I'm hitting the gym consistently, I'm grinding, got a sales job, whatever the fuck. Now at some point, I talked to this one motherfucker, and essentially, the idea to flip a PC, or to get a PC comes up. Also, I'm kind of reluctant, because the fucking last time I had a PC, I was just addicted to video games. I'm like, yeah, you know what, I've been on this self-improvement shit. Maybe I can have a PC minus all the games. Well, we collect the parts, which, I mean, took a couple of weeks. Still hitting the gym. But then we get to a stage where the PC is effectively ready. And what happens when the PC is ready is that, well, I want to use the PC, I want to test the PC, I get this idea that, well, let me just figure everything out, because this is gonna change the way I work, so this is really important to do. And all of a sudden, a couple of days later, I just find myself sitting on the PC, but not really going to the gym, not really working out. Partially because all of a sudden, I can talk to people on the actual computer, like on Discord. Like, of course, you got it on the MacBook as well, but I mean, you don't really do it that much on a MacBook, anyways. Which I'll do that another video about that. But anyways, I end up really just being engulfed in that world, which in turn then meant that my gym progress fell off a goddamn cliff. Now, why? Why did it fall off a cliff? Well, there are a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is, well, if you're on a PC all the time, then the gym is gonna feel harder. Okay, that's a part of the reason. But the other reason why it kind of fell off a cliff is because while the PC stuff is making the gym harder, your skill level decreases. There's your discipline in terms of your work ethic. And so when you try to keep the same workout, the same standard for going to the gym in that case, at some point it's just gonna be too hard and you're gonna miss a session. Now the thing is, well, all of that is happening. Your ego is gonna be so bloody high that it's not gonna allow you to make the gym easier on yourself, or even to just be like, look, your level right now is that you should probably switch to doing push-ups at home. Now, I'm not saying you should do that, I don't recommend it at all, but point being, you need to be realistic with the level you are at, okay? So, why do we set the bar low? We set the bar low so that on the hardest days, when you look, it has to be, no matter what happens, no matter what you do, you can still go to the gym. Okay? So, notice right now I'm not in a rut anymore. Why? The reason I'm not in a rut anymore is because I dropped my ego, which told me, hey man, you gotta work out this way. I went just like, nah, we're doing push-ups now. One push-up you worked out. I did that. And then what happened after that is, well, I wanted to go to the gym again, and so I did. And now I'm at the point where I want to consistently go to the gym, but I want to make it as easy as humanly possible. So how do you do that? Well, the way you do it is by setting the bar low, which in this case means show up at the gym. That's it. Okay? The goal isn't go to the gym, do this heavy workout, do the cardio, do this, that, social, nothing. No. It's literally, did you show up at the gym today or not? Because chances are, if you do show up at the gym, you're gonna work out, you're gonna do at least something. And that something is a heck of a lot more than really anything you realistically would do at home. Okay. So now you're just a motherfucker that goes to the gym, and that's something you want to protect at all costs, and I'll get to that a bit later. So, that's how low you want to set the bar. Now, can you set the bar too low? Because one of the thoughts I had, and like something I've been thinking about for the last couple of weeks is, should it be show up at the gym, or should it be workout? Because I'm thinking here like, you want to set it so low that you can do it on your worst days, and so that you can do it preferably for the rest of your life. I was here like, well, I can work out for the rest of my life. Like I can be 80. Maybe I can't do a normal push-up anymore, but I can do one with the knees on the floor. So I can work out every day, so that's dope. And I do want to be that motherfucker that works out every day. Like even when you're 80 or 90, you're working out. Well, that'd be dope. Like, can you set the bar too low? Like, what's too low? And I think the only caveat to how low you can set the bar is this. Doing one push-up at home is easier than probably even just showing up at the gym. And so with that, you want to sit down and go, is your goal the gym or just working out? Like, I'm not saying it should be one or the other. for me, I like going to the gym. I find I do better workouts at the gym. It's more social. If all you do other than that is work, then probably you'd be better off going to the gym. So that you don't just sit inside all day. Of course, it depends a bit on what season you are in life, whatever. But in general, I'd say if the goal is gym, and you wonder how low you should set the bar, probably realistically the lowest you want to go is just show up at the gym. Okay? Because if you set the goal to work out, I mean, you might do abs, and you probably will do abs at least someday instead of going to the gym like when you're really tired. But what you could also do when you're really tired is show up at the gym. Okay? Now, of course, this is gonna depend a bit on like how far the gym is for you. If it's 1 hour away, then yeah, probably set the goal to work out because showing up to the gym is quite strenuous. Actually, quite hard. But in terms of me, I got like 10 minutes to the gym, can drive there in like 3, so I can show up at the gym every single day. And that's the goal right now. It's not to hit a PR. It's not try to kill yourself at the gym in a sense of like you lift weights. You move the barbell to the point where it feels like, okay, shit, I actually can do more, I'm gonna die. But you do wanna set the bar so low that it's like, okay, I can consistently do it, and that's why I got it at show up at the gym. Like, so I got a habit tracker, and that's literally what it says. It says show up at the gym. Okay. Also, if you're asking, well, I'll do another example. You want it to be bare minimum. Not even work out. If you want to go to the gym, I'd set the bar to show up at the gym. Because that you can do every day. It doesn't matter if the gym closes in 10 minutes. Okay? Show up. Hop on a treadmill for 3 minutes. Okay, you showed up at the gym. Okay? The important thing is the consistency of being someone who goes to the gym every single day, no matter what. And so, like, one of the ruts that I've been in, I fell off my work list completely. And so, the question is, how did I get back from that? How did I bounce back? Like, obviously, I'm making this YouTube video. I think I published one yesterday. Got an interview for a new job tomorrow. While doing all of this other shit, going to the gym, whatnot. And so, how did I get back on? And this is gonna sound retarded almost. But I set the goal. 1 second of work per day. And that's what I still have in my habit tracker. It's work on tasks. And if I work on tasks for 1 second, that's enough. I get to tick the box. I might say, well, that's not gonna do anything. Yeah, not on its own, it's not. But what happens with time is that you start getting consecutive days of working on tasks, even if like it's that small, even if it's almost questionable whether or not it does anything. At some point you're gonna start building momentum. And then when you build that momentum and when you start doing all of that shit, all of a sudden you want to do more. I mean, the same goes for showing up at the gym. You show up at the gym, you don't really work out that hard, but at some point you're gonna be like, you know what, I wanna know how much I can do. I'll be showing up here for a week. Let's see what this is all about. And you start going harder and harder and harder. Okay. And the thing is, you wouldn't be at that point unless you set the bar stupid low, unless you set the bar to, yeah, this feels too easy, this feels like it's below me, what the fuck is this even gonna do? Well, that's the beauty of it. Every single day you work more than 1 second, it's because you wanted to. Because what you have to do is the 1 second. But if you do more than that, it's because you wanted to. If the goal is to show up at the gym every day, no matter what, and you actually do a couple of sets of bench press. Well, you did those sets because you wanted to. And that's the dope thing about this system is the bar is really low, so you can't go on your worst days. You get to keep the identity of being someone who goes to the gym. Okay? You get that because that's what you do. You go to the gym every day. And you get to have that belief and a mindset in your head. I've been to the gym. I haven't missed a day of the gym in 200 days. And that's how you're gonna start moving. Okay? Like, it's gonna feel too easy when you set this as the standard. But what's gonna happen is you're gonna be able to stay on track. And if you haven't been going consistent right now, you will. Because that's what this shit does. So in the light of all of this, the last thing I want to point out is that staying consistent will take you really damn far. Okay? Set the bar stupid low and stay consistent on that. And don't get egotistical and raise the bar. You don't want to do that. Like, raise the bar in terms of, okay, track your workouts, figure out, okay, how hard can you work out, do all of that. But don't set the habit in and of its own to be harder. Okay? The standard is gotta be show up at the gym every day no matter what. Okay? Just show up. Same with the work. That's why it's work on task, cause show up to the work. Right? Like calories, like how much you eat. If you're on a bulk, if you're on a cut, can't really do that, so you kind of just have to track that. Meditation, one breath, journaling, couple of words, stretching, one stretch for 1 second, breathe for 1 second. And so that's kind of what I'm been doing, but that's gonna take you far, because it's not like, I don't know when last I would have just read for a second per day. Like, I probably read for, like, consistently, I probably read 10 to 30 minutes per day, quite frankly. And so the things that wouldn't have happened unless the bar was, did you read today, yes or no? Did I meditate today, yes or no? Like, right now I'm meditating consistently over 5 minutes. Haven't missed a day in a month, about. And like, even that wouldn't have happened unless I set the bar really damn low. Almost uncomfortably. Almost like when you tell people, yeah, so my goal is to meditate for a second per day. They're gonna look at you where you're like, well, what the fuck, man? Like 1 second per day, like, is that how bad you are? But what's gonna happen is you're gonna meditate more than them, you're gonna read more than them, you're gonna end up working more than them, you're gonna end up working out harder than them, because you set the bar low and dropped your ego and just stayed consistent. And so that's how I got out of the last route. I mean, I said those things that I just mentioned in my habit tracker. Well, now it's 3x3. I'll make another video on that. But, you know, it's the bar was damn low. But because the bar was so damn low, that even if you're addicted to XYZ, even if you're on a computer all day, you can't get those things done. Okay? Because it's gonna be later, you're gonna be like, fuck, I haven't read. Okay, well, let me read for a second. Let me do this one stretch for 1 second. Now, so what happens is you don't miss days, and when you do about 2 weeks of that, now all of a sudden you wanna go to the gym. Now all of a sudden you wanna meditate, no matter how down bad you were. Okay? So just set the bar down low and focus on staying consistent. Because due to the fact that you're a human being, okay, humans hate boredom. So what you're naturally gonna do is you're gonna start leveling up, even if the standard is really low. And then the dope thing is that when you really feel like shit and you don't know how you're gonna pull through, you can look at your habits and go, you know what, let me just go to the gym. Let me just show up. Then if you don't feel like working out, you don't. But just show up. And what probably is gonna happen is that you're gonna have a workout. Now, is it gonna be great? Who knows? But you showed up, and when you do that enough, but your workouts ain't gonna get worse. You're gonna learn more about the gym. You're gonna stay more consistent. You're gonna have the identity of someone who wants to go to the gym and actually goes to the gym every day. And then you're gonna start having great workouts, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you're in great shape. So make it simplify your life, make the habits, and especially with the gym, which this video is about, make the gym stupid easy. So make the goal to just show up at the gym every day. Now, of course, have a workout split, push, pull legs, row split, whatever the fuck you want. But just show up every single day. Focus on that, and that way you won't fall off. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.